All right, we'll get started for another Blastfurnace in, I want to say in lockdown, but we're all out and keeping distance. It's a general rule, isn't it? If you can stand and do that, then you're safe. Welcome. I think Jason is the only new. This is the first time I've seen your face.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yep. I'll go through the standard sort of breakdown. So, Blastfurnace, basically what it is code, meet, and collaborate. So, effectively, every month we have a presenter that's going to take everyone through some technology, programming language, tech stack or tool, and we're going to have a look at how we use that and how it's useful in real life. We'll have at 7:30 we'll break for some pizza and a bit of mingling, 1.5 metre mingling, and then after the pizza break we basically get hands-on. So this that sort of varies between each session. So we might actually be getting hands-on in the part before the pizza break as well, just see how it all plays out. But that's the general structure that we're trying to follow with the Blastfurnace. As always, the STEM Industry Schools Partnership Program sponsor the event, so I'd like to give them a shout out. And the goal for them is basically to help kids in STEM connect with industry while they're in high school effectively, and try and get experience where they can, or at least get a good direction / pathway into the STEM line that they're going into with reference to a university. And Dashworks MakeSpace give us the space that we're using. I'll also mention that the bathroom's just behind us here, behind the false wall there, and the exit's where you came in case of fire. So tonight we're going to be looking at StackBlitz and Angular and Firebase, which is basically an online editor for doing some fast web dev without having to set up your whole machine with an IDE. And Sora from SAPHI is going to be taking us through that. So Sora is a web developer that works with myself at SAPHI and has a fair bit of experience with all the technologies you're going to see him demonstrate tonight. Next month, so we're either looking at Node-RED or an intro to mobile apps, or it's another suggestion, or particularly if we get someone that wants to present on a particular topic, a new presenter, whatever their topic is. But right now the plan is we're tossing up between Node-RED, which is basically a graphical programming language for JavaScript that runs on low-level devices like Raspberry Pis, or an introduction to building mobile apps / web apps quickly with Flutter, which is a cross-platform mobile web app technology. So build it in one code base, deploy it iOS, Android, and web. Oh, my Bluetooth on my mouse is gone. Can you click the trackpad or the arrow key? Yeah, as always, we have shirts. If you're interested, see the guys wearing the shirts around. Basically, the money from the shirts we feed back into the drinks and the pizza and sort of supporting the event. Thanks, Alan. Social media, if you do take some pictures or if you're interested in following us, there's our sort of handles. And right now, if you haven't already got it, grab the Wi-Fi creds, because you're going to need internet access. I believe Dash Guest is the better of the two, but the LEMEDC 2.4 is a 2.4 gigahertz network, so for older devices that's probably all you'll see. Other than that, we'll kick off. I'll switch the projector across and let Sora take it away.
Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, there it is.
Perfect. Seamless transition.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sora, and welcome to our Blastfurnace event for this month. Today I'm gonna... What? Oh, it's not moving. Yeah, so today I'm gonna talk about some web development, and also we're gonna try and work on coding a website together and try and build it as fast as possible. Okay. So tonight we're going to be using 3 technologies, and that will be the StackBlitz, Angular, and Firebase. And we're going to focus on doing some rapid web development, so that means we're going to try and really, get our Angular app up and running onto our websites without having to leave it at all. Okay. So before we start, we'll need to have a GitHub account. So does anybody not have a GitHub account? So yeah, so if you just go to github.com and sign up, you should be able to use, put a username, email, password, and so forth. I already have an account, so I don't have to sign up. And for Firebase, you'll need to, if you have a Google account, you should have access to Firebase. So you can just go to firebase.google.com. And I'm already signed into my Google account, so I have access to it. All right. All right, so what is a website? Now, most of you know what it is, so you'd put in a link into a browser, and the thing that you see is actually the front end, or the client side, that is running on the web browser. And then you've got some back-end code, or the server-side code, that's actually running on a web server. And for the front end, we'll be using Angular, and for the back end, we're using Firebase. And to create a website, we need our HTML to structure elements on our web page. And then we need the CSS to style these elements. And JavaScript is what allows us to tell these elements, these HTML elements, how they should behave. Okay? And normally we'd need to write up all this code on an IDE or an integrated development environment, write all that code in there and put it in place that we can serve it all up onto the internet. But tonight we'll be using something called StackBlitz that will allow us to write all our code on our browser itself, so we don't have to install anything locally. So let's go to stackblitz.com. And the reason you need that GitHub account is so that you can sign in with GitHub onto StackBlitz. So I already have an account, so we're just going to get into it. Okay, so did everybody get to that bit? Signed in with GitHub. And what we're going to do next is we're going to go to Start a New App. And we can see here that there's different workspaces we could start with. But tonight we'll be using Angular, so we'll just click on that Angular workspace. Okay, so we're going to be writing all our code here instead. No need to install anything. What I'm going to do here is I'll just change this name to something easier. So I'm going to go BF demo like that and just save. You can call it whatever you like. Just calling it Blastfurnace demo. I'm just going to save that. And what we'll do... does everyone have access to that Slack? Or?
Oh,
right.
That's actually a great point. So, anyone here not on UE Slack channel? You guys are not?
Yeah.
Get you guys on. So what we're doing, just as an update, we had a Blastfurnace, we still have it, Blastfurnace Slack channel, but most of our attendees generally are on UE Slack. So what we're actually going to do is we've created inside UE Slack a Blastfurnace channel, and we're going to use that to basically communicate, stop people having to have multiple Slack accounts open, but also to make sure people are on UE Slack, because it's an important place to be if you want to be part of the tech community here. So.
Yeah, so if you're on the NUI Slack already, what you can do is, yeah, you can just click up on this channels over here. I think if you do the plus sign, oh no. Yeah, you could do browse channels, and if you type, I think Blastfurnace, you should be able to join it. Okay, so that's if you're on the NUI Slack already. Okay, so now if we're going to the Blastfurnace channel here. Let's go. So if I send you this link, if I send you this link here, and if you visit that link, my computer's slow, that should take you to this StackBlitz app that I have running here. Okay, so the point here is that we didn't have to, really install too many things. We just, signed up, created a project, and we have our website up and running. Okay, so that's what you can do with StackBlitz. Okay, where is it? Cool. No. Okay, so we just saw that we just had 2 lines of, words and everything. So how can we make this look good? How can we add more to it? Now we could code all that HTML, CSS all from scratch if we wanted to, or we could use UI kits or user interface kits such as MD Bootstrap, okay? And with MD Bootstrap, so let's just go to the link here. Let's go here. The thing with MD Bootstrap is that they already have things coded up for you that is ready to use, so you don't have to spend too much time creating all of this content here, okay? So I'll just give you, so we need to tell our Angular app that we're gonna use MD Bootstrap, and the way we do that is we need to install it into our application. So I'll give you this link right here, so we'll go quick start. So I'll send this link to you. So we're going to together install MD Bootstrap into our apps. So where is that? Slack. Put that here. Okay, so that should take us to the same page I'm on. And we're going to follow these steps together. So if you get to that link, scroll down till you find npm installation. We're gonna skip steps 1 and 2 and go to step 3. And I'm gonna select this @Angular/CDK. We're gonna copy it onto our web app here on StackBlitz. So we'll go down to dependencies, bottom left. Click on that. And we're going to enter this, the thing we copied, into our dependencies. Okay. And that's going to install for a while. In the next step, we've got to do the similar thing where we copy this bit. So Angular-bootstrap-MD. We're going to copy that. Oops. And put that into that text box. Okay, and then we're going to install any missing dependencies. It's the Angular-bootstrap-MD, so from that link I sent. Yeah, we're going to wait for that to install for a bit. And the next thing we'll end up doing is getting this code over here. So they're saying to update the app module.ts file with this code. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to check if that installation's done. Still taking a bit. Is that a little slow?
Might hit it, but it failed at this step here running in GCC.
Yeah, so with that, yeah, if you get it to work and it's failing, you'll need to go to settings, and you want to untick that enable Ivy. And that takes a while to load for me for some reason. So when you untick that, you want to click save and then refresh the page, and then that does it very quickly. So hopefully that works. I'll try saving and seeing if I can bypass that slowness. So did that work, or still waiting? Or? Yeah, okay, that's good. I don't know why maybe my computer is just really slow. Okay, mine won't even load now, I think.
We have problems with other things as well.
Okay, so has everybody gotten to that point where you install those dependencies? You got it? Yeah, cool, that's good. Okay, so after that, what we're going to do, we're still going to continue following this documentation because it's telling us how to install the MD Bootstrap, right? So yeah, so we're going to copy this code here into our app module TS file. So when we go back to our StackBlitz project, I'm going to click on the app module TS because that's where they're telling us to go. And I'll just copy all that code outside over here at the end.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
In 2 sentences, describe what StackBlitz is and what you use it for.
StackBlitz is good for rapid web development. So, building it as fast as possible. Like you don't have to, you don't have to like buy a domain name, go to a hosting and, huh? It's already it's already running. So that link that this link over here should, anybody can view that link right now, basically. I think so, because if we went to the home page. Sorry?
Is it only for web development, or can you do console stuff too?
Console. Oh, you mean like PlayStation and stuff like that? No, I don't think so. I think it seems to be a web dev thing, but I haven't, gotten into it. Cool. Okay. So with this part we copied in just now, we can see that there's some error over here. So this is just saying that we already have it. So we can just, get rid of that. What we do need is this MD Bootstrap module. So I'm gonna remove that and put it, next to all my other modules. And the other thing is that we already have an ng module over here as well. And we also have this imports array. So what we're going to do is just take this MD Bootstrap module for root bit, cut it out, remove this entire thing because we already have it, and we're going to put it in the imports array. Okay? So I'm just going to make this a bit neater. Go there, and I'll just put that there. Okay, so I've just made that a bit neater, but you don't have to do that. Okay. So we still have a few more steps to go to install MD Bootstrap, and this is the final step, actually. So in that link I sent you, what we're going to do is copy this code into our angular.json file. So I'm going to copy everything that has the node modules in front of it. So I'll just copy this part here all the way. I'm going to copy it to our styles array in the Angular JSON file. So if we go back to our StackBlitz app, go to our Angular JSON file. I think I'll close that. Try to zoom in. Right, so I'm going to put it inside the styles array, as the documentation says. Okay. I'm going to neaten it a bit again. And then we'll add the stuff for the scripts as well. So we're going to copy all of that and put it in our scripts array over here. Okay. Cool. Okay, so that's it that we're going to do for installing MD Bootstrap. To confirm that it's actually working, what we're going to do is going to go back to this MD Bootstrap, and we're going to open this menu to the left, and we're going to try and put in some templates, okay? So I'm just going to type in intros in here, intro, and then the first one that comes up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy some code here. So this is a template that's already coded for us, so we don't have to write any of this code. I'm going to pick this template over here. And what we're going to do is copy this HTML code. Okay, so I'm just going to click on Copy Code. And we're going to put it in our app component. Okay. So our app component.html file. Okay, so .html. And I'm going to get rid of all this code here, and I'm going to paste that HTML we got from MD Bootstrap. I'm going to go back to MD Bootstrap and take the CSS as well. So I'm going to click on that CSS so that we can add styling. Copy that code, go back to our Blastfurnace, StackBlitz project, and put that into the CSS so app component.css file. Okay, so I removed all the code that was there, and I added this new CSS. So if we go to our page, okay, so I've just clicked on open in a new window for me. And we should see that intros that we just copy-pasted the code on our website.
So I missed where we jumped to in the Bootstrap to grab the CSS.
Oh, okay. So if I go back to this bit, so did you get to this one? Yep. So if we go to the sidebar here, type in intros. I just type in intro, and yeah, we click on that. So did everybody get to the point where we can see the MD Bootstrap template we've copied onto their websites? Ooh, mine's slow again. But basically, after that, we can see how fast, just copying things from the documentation to get MD Bootstrap up and running on our apps, and then just I have to install some packages. But yeah, as we go, StackBlitz is taking care of installing any dependencies or packages we need in order to get all that running. And we didn't really have to code too much. We just copy-pasted them, and we could see that result on our web page. Okay.
That when you open the page in a separate tab,
Yeah,
it's quite slow.
it's quite slow.
But in
This one?
yeah, it's going
Let's
better.
try
Yeah,
it.
it's going to go better.
Okay.
Even though it doesn't look as good because it's like
Too compressed.
really compressed.
Yeah.
Mine is a separate tab, quite quick, but yours is
I think my, it just might be my,
It's a streaming machine as well.
yeah. Oh, like, yeah, we're doing some other things here. Okay, so maybe I won't put that on.
Once you get it displayed once, it's then the hot reloading doesn't seem.
Yeah. So I don't know why this is really slow, but we've installed MD Bootstrap, and while we wait for that, let's talk about Angular. So Angular is actually a JavaScript framework, and the thing about Angular is that you can, how do I say it? You can basically divide up your HTML elements into meaningful components. So if you wanted a header, you want to put it in a header component, navbar component, and so forth. And the place that we put in that intros code in is actually the app component, and that is the root component of our Angular application. So that's always actually running. And we're able to create other components, but unless we include these components into our app component, we won't be able to see all that. So what we'll do now is we'll go back to our code, and we're going to go to this app folder over here, and then we're going to right-click on it, and then we're going to go to Angular Generator, and then we're going to click on Component. Okay, so we're going to add a few components, and these are going to be our pages for our application. So I'm just going to type in home for a home component. The home component. Okay, and then we're gonna add more components in. So I'm gonna go again, right-click on the app folder, go to Angular Generator, and click on Component. And then we're gonna create the login component. Okay, and then we'll create another component called the profile component. So these components are gonna be different pages. Profile component. Okay, so there's 3 components. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is whatever we had in our home component that we copied, the intros, we're gonna move that code all into this home component. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. Looks like I lost my templates that I copied, so I'm gonna go back to the website and copy it. But what you need to do is remove them from your app component and put them in your home components, okay? So I'm gonna get this code, copy the HTML back to the home component. So I'm gonna copy it. I'll put it in my home component, HTML file. I'll put that there. Save that. Save that. Go back to our MD Bootstrap site. Go to CSS and copy that CSS. So you've done this already. Just move out the code that you have in your app component to the home component. Okay, the same way as we did before. Yes, leave the app components empty. So I'll show you what I'm talking about, the app component, and how we need to include other components in for that to work, okay? So we'll go back to our CSS, put that. Okay, so I'm gonna try and match you guys where my app component's empty because we've moved all our code, so let's go back. Oh, it's here, but it doesn't show. So that's a bit weird. That's actually weird. I don't think mine loaded properly. Even the CSS is here. Okay, so I'm gonna clear that up. So we've moved it to the home component and we can't see anything. So what we need to do now is use the router module to allow us to route to these components, okay? So I'm gonna close all of this for me so it's a bit cleaner. Okay. What we'll do now is we'll go to our app module.ts file, okay? So that's out here, the red one. And what we'll do is, so you'll notice here that your home component, login component, and profile components have been added. So StackBlitz took care of that for us. We didn't have to do it. Now, after all those imports, we're going to create a constant called routes. So const routes, okay, equals. I'll send you this code in case you don't catch that. So routes, and then, so const routes equal, then square brackets, and then we're gonna open our curly braces and put inside path, colon, and an empty string, okay? So 2 single quotes. And then a comma, and then component, colon, and then I'm gonna put in the home component, okay? So you can just copy that. And then I'm gonna add a comma here, and I'm gonna copy paste this 2 more times, like that. And we're gonna use login component in place of home component, in place of the second home component, and then profile component in place of the third line that we copied, okay? And what we'll do is in the path for login component, we want to change that, we want to type in login for the path for the login component, okay? And for the profile component, we'll just type in profile. Now, the reason we're leaving home component empty is because we want this to be loaded the first, okay? So I'll show you that shortly. So I'm gonna give you this code so that you can use this. We'll go back to the Slack channel, and I'm gonna put it in here. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna give you that code. Okay. So that's on the Slack channel in case you didn't get that. And what we're going to do is now we're going to import the router module. So in our imports array here, you want that after this MD bootstrap module line here, we're going to add something called router module. So I'm going to type router very slowly, module. And you're going to get the suggestion coming out like that. So when you see that, just press the tab button on your keyboard, and that should automatically import this router module. Yes, so we were at the part where we were trying to get other components to display on a page. So we imported the router module, okay, and we still haven't completed it yet. So after we've typed router module and imported the router module, what we have to continue writing is, so router module, if you go back to the imports array and type in router module dot for root, it gets suggested to you. And what we're going to do is put in our routes into that for root parentheses, that function. So I'll just copy that. So this line goes into the imports array. So if I put that here. Okay, so we're putting in the routes array into our router module for root function. Okay, so once that's done, we'll go to the app component HTML file, and here we're going to type router outlet. So router dash outlet. Okay? And I'll hit tab twice, well, once in this case, and it's going to give me the router outlet tags. And we can see here that now that home component is actually loaded up. So just copy that router outlet tag into your app component.html file. Put that here as well. Okay, so those router outlet tags go to your app component HTML, and you should be able to see that home page. So let me try and open.
What was inside the routes?
Yeah, the routes array.
The smaller the array is, the harder it is to find. Thanks for that.
Okay, so once that's done, we'll go to, we want to check that the other pages work as well. So if we go to our, the link up here, and we just do a / login, because we named it login, we're going to see the login component. And if you see the login works, then you know that the login page works. So that's a bit slow. Did anyone get to see their login components? Yeah. Okay, so mine's just slow. And then if you typed profile as well, you should see profile works. And that means our routes is working. Okay, so the next step would be, so we saw that how we had to keep typing those, profile and login into the to the browser. We shouldn't have to do that. If you had multiple pages, your clients or your customer wouldn't know to type all of that all the time. So we're going to use something called navbars that allows us to navigate to different pages. So if we go back to the MD Bootstrap page and go down to, so if we go search again, we're going to put in navbar in the search. And we're going to click that first bit. And again, like before, we're going to copy the HTML and CSS. Okay? So I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick the very first navbar that we see here. And we're going to copy all that code. Right, so I'm just going to go copy code, get that navbar code copied. And if we go back to our StackBlitz project, I'm just going to close that, try to open it here. Okay, what we'll do is we're going to create a navbar component because it's better to, split up our Angular app into components. So I'm going to go to, again, the app folder. We're going to right-click, go to Angular generator, and then go to component. Okay, and we're going to call this navbar. Okay, so that should get created. And we're going to copy, so we copied the HTML code. That's going to go into the navbar component HTML. Okay, so I'm going to paste, that's the CSS. The HTML page, so HTML here. I'm going to delete all of that navbar work stuff. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to clean this navbar up a bit so that we only have what we need. And I'll send you the code as well. So I'm going to delete this form. We don't need the search form. I'm going to delete that code. I'm going to delete this dropdown as well. Delete that. And then I think that should be good to go. We're going to change some of the words here. So instead of navbar, we're going to call this, I think you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it Blastfurnace. And I'll replace that href with router link instead. So router link, L is capital, and then inside this hash, we're just going to put a /. So that would represent the home page. Okay. I'm going to delete some words here too. So if we see the navbar item active, I'm going to remove that active word. We don't need that. And then I'll replace some things here. So we've got the home page, and we've got a profile page. So I'm going to change that text to profile. And instead of pricing, I'll put login in there. And to go to these pages now, we need to use the router link. So I'll type in router link. And inside our router link, we do router link equals double quotes / to go to the home page. And we're going to copy this router link to the other anchor tags. So the tags that have A, like anchor tags, so A. And then we put in the router link. Instead of the / for profile, we're going to put the word profile in, because that's what we define that path to be. And similarly for login, we'll do, login. And I think that should do. I'm going to, here, let's save that. Okay, I'll send you this code as well, so that you can copy it to your navbar component. So where's the Slack here? Here. So this is going to be your navbar code. Okay. Okay, so I've modified it a bit to what we require for our application. And we need to import this navbar into our other components. And because we discussed that the app component is the root component that's always running, we're going to put our navbar into our app component so that it shows across all the pages. Okay, so I'll just clear all this up. Just close these pages. Okay, so if we go back to the app component HTML file, okay, above the router outlet, we're going to put in our navbar that we just integrated. So we're going to go app-navbar. I'm going to hit tab, and that's going to give me the opening and closing tags, okay, for the navbar. And you'll see that there's a clash because the intros that we integrated earlier into the home component also has a navbar. So what we're going to do is go back to our home component, the HTML, home component HTML, and we're going to delete this navbar. You know where it says MDB navbar? Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. Okay, so it's a bit of a long code, so I'm just gonna, there should be a, here. So there's an arrow to the left that you can, like make the code much smaller. So we're gonna basically delete this MDB-navbar tags. Okay, we're gonna delete that whole navbar. And that should remove the clash from our application. So if I open in a new window, hopefully this loads. You should, with the code I sent you, you should be able to navigate to the different pages. So you could go to the login page, profile page, and so forth. Yeah, so if we go to the, if we click on this different links here, we go to the profile works, profile page. This is the profile page, login page, home page. So now we can see that we can route to the different pages. Okay? Okay. So we've done that. We're able to navigate to different pages. Now we're going to go and finally talk about Firebase. So we're going to try and save stuff to the database and also read from it. So what we'll do is go on to Firebase. So if you just go to firebase.google.com, and I think if you just sign in with your Google account, you should be able to have access to that. Everyone on Firebase? And we just go to the console. Okay, so what we're going to do is add a project. And you can enter any name that you want. I'm just going to call mine BF Demo Dev, okay, or something like that. And once we've named that, we can just continue. And we'll just continue again. And then we're gonna select our account, and that's just gonna be our, I'm just gonna choose my default account, and we're gonna create the project. Okay, so once that's done, we'll continue. Okay, if I go out here. Okay, so if you get that, you've got a Firebase project now. And what we're going to do, now that we have Firebase, we're going to actually deploy this app onto Firebase. Okay, so this application that we're creating here is going to host our StackBlitz project. So if you go back to the StackBlitz project, go all the way to the left, you'll see a Firebase icon here. And we're gonna choose the project we just created. I just created this one, BF Demo Dev. Before we deploy, I'm going to give you some code to place somewhere so that this deployment works, okay? I'll just give that to you in a sec. Here. I'm gonna copy that into the Slack channel. So you want to put this code I'm sending right now into our index.html file. So if you go to project, scroll down to index.html, and replace that code with this one. Okay, once that's done, you go to that Firebase icon again, and we'll deploy it to the Firebase project that we created. So now your app's going to be hosted by Firebase. And what Firebase does is, once you have this hosting, I think they give you a free web app domain. So if I go to hosting, if we go to hosting, it's going to give you a web app domain that you can use, and you can add your custom domains to it. So if you had like your own personal domain, you could link it to Firebase, and if you had a project that is hosted on Firebase, you could, Firebase is hosting that website of yours. It's still hosting, I think. So that's basically how you can deploy to Firebase. Yeah, so now it's... So our application's actually being hosted on Firebase. So if ever you created an app that was using Firebase, you can host your application on Firebase instead of having to go to a different hosting service. You can do it for free with Firebase. And yeah, our site's up there now. What we'll do now. Okay. 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 So there's a bit more to go with the application, actually. So we were going to implement a login functionality so that you could log in, save data to the database, as well as retrieve from it. I'll see if we can get to a point where so if I go back here. think we'll try to see if we can go to a point where we can save stuff to the database at the very least. So we're going to go to our MD Bootstrap, and we're going to get a form for our login component. So I'll just type in login into the search, and we're going to click on forms. And I'm just going to pick the first form that's on here. That's really simple. So we're going to add this component into the login component. Okay, so I'll copy that code. And put that in our login component HTML file. I'm going to clean it up a bit. I'm going to remove some parts, and I'm just going to leave the email password stuff and the button, the sign-in button, and everything else I'm just going to remove it. So our form is much more simpler and only to what we need. Huh? Yeah, I'll put that in Slack, yeah. So I'll copy that into Slack here. Okay, so that's the form we're gonna be using. I'm gonna add more to it to see if we can start entering stuff into the form and retrieving the data that we send to the form. Okay, so we're gonna go to the login component TS file, and I'm gonna add an email variable here, email : string, and then semicolon. And these are, whatever we enter into the form, we want to save those values into these variables. So password, we're going to create a password as well, colon, and then string. Sorry? No, this is the string is saying what type this variable holds. It's going to hold strings. Okay? So that's that. And what we're going to do is we're going to create an onSubmit function. So that's just a function that when we click on the sign-in button, right now it's just going to print stuff back to us. OnSubmit. Okay. And we're just going to console.log. We're going to just print out the email and password that we enter into the form. So we're going to use this. So we're referring to that email instance over there. So this.email. And I'll just do comma this.password. And I'll send you this code as well. Okay, so. Okay, so we're going to be using that to test and see if whatever we enter into the form can be returned to us. So I'm going to still I'm going to still add stuff to our login form in the login component HTML file. Okay, and we're going to add something called two-way binding. So we're going to add, so after this input text over here, we're going to have some square brackets. Inside that, we're going to add parentheses and type in ng model, so capital M. And we're going to make that equal to just email. So we're referring to the variable in our login component here. Okay, so we're going to be entering whatever we enter in the form, that's going to go into this variable here. And what two-way binding does, it allows us to get that value back. Okay, it's sending us back that value. So we're going to see that in action shortly. So if I go back to our login component, so we have ng model, and we're going to have a name attribute, because the ng model needs that, I think. So email. And we're going to do the same for password. So I'll just copy that bit and replace that with password. And finally, I'm going to add an event into our sign-in button. So we're going to use the click event. So the way I'm going to do that is I'll put in parentheses, and within those parentheses, I'm going to put the click event, and I'll equal that to the onSubmit function we created. Okay, so I'll send this code through as well. So you want to update your login component HTML file with this updated version. And what I'll do now is we're going to try and use this console to see what we're printing back to the user. So let's try to zoom this in. So we have a console down here. You can open that up if this loads. So did you, yeah, if you, oh, it's like mine. Basically what happens is now when you type into the form, whatever you type in, when you press submit button, it should show you what you're printing. So that's basically, yeah, we had more to go. We had to save to the database, read from it, do more stuff, but it's all right. Like, but you
going to put those in the Slack channel as well? So
which one? The whole,
the database part? Or?
Database part, I'm going to see what we can do to actually complete this, because when I was trying to go through it to prepare for you guys, I saw this is actually really good. You could do stuff with this. So I'm going to see what we can do, and maybe we can create another video. I don't know. I'm not promising anything, but I'm going to see if we can do something like that. So that, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, I'll see what we can do. Yeah. I'll probably send the link to maybe a much more complete project that you can look at, I guess. I'll see what we can do. Thank you.